All right, folks, welcome to league number 2 of the day. We're testing Florahedron, which so far I've kind of liked a little bit better than the elephant. Dumping sphere in the sideboard as well. And that's pretty much it. I've kind of been not particularly high on this member. I think that I might go back to Winds of Abandon, even though it's definitely a lot worse against opposing Dryads and opposing Mind Sensors and stuff. But I am watching out for this card, and we have already run multiple times into situations where Winds would have been so much better than this member. Pro is right up my alley. I miss going to live concerts. Yeah, me too. Me too. Particularly now that I found, like, I really want to go watch Thank You Scientist live. And that's not gonna happen forever, which makes me sad. Opponent, please. Want to show up? Would you be so kind in showing up so I can beat you, opponent? I kind of like this list though. I would queues now, but I'm sleeving fake magic cards. Sounds way more exciting. Yeah, we keep this. That's a lot of creature removal. Yep. That is the point. I'm going to shock here instead of playing it off the cavern, because my opponent could be playing blue-black. I really doubt it, but I guess they could. And also this hides that I can cast a path next turn if I need to. Is this 8-rack? Am I really playing against 8-rack? I guess I'm playing against 8-rack, huh? Inquisition. Sure. Tickets for RATM that were supposed to be for August and postponed for August 2021. Oh, nice. The casual 1 year postpone. Right into 8-rack yesterday. They can't beat humans. They can't beat most decks in the metagame, I'm pretty sure. Not sure what games you would be tutoring for Tile Striker. It's most of a nice to have kind of card, I guess. It's not really something that I would tutor for. It's something for games where I would want to naturally draw those cards. We could also get Steve. Is Steve better than Spring Bloom? I guess I'd rather have Spring Bloom because it's Liliana fodder. So we just name, I guess, whatever here. Definitely not as good when you are not sacrificing flagstones, but you don't know what I spent those tickets for age. No, I just have to be able to, yeah. Yeah, it feels bad. It really messed things up. the whole music business has kind of been put on hold. Have this path to exile. So I could go for Steve here, but I could also call for Raminap. The problem with calling for Raminap is that we get owned by Inquisition. And I kinda don't want to play out the Sacred Foundry. Because I want to hold it to be discarded. I think we just pass. I know that Steve guarantees Titan, but... Ilo Parto with the Prime sub. Welcome back for the second month in a row with the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Waiting for a second on my Reclaimer. God damn it. The meme just never dies, huh? The meme never dies. Thank you for the subscription. Man, this turn is super rough. I think I'm just gonna pass. If my opponent plays a Lily or something, we just pitch the Sacred Foundry to it. Another Raver's Crime, we pitch Sacred Foundry, we call for Raminap, get back probably a Forest. Oh, this is their turn? Oh, I'm okay with this. This is acceptable. This is certainly acceptable. Oh, I should have played the fetch. I forgot that we already have this land. Whoopsies. It's okay. Play land, discard call is something we can do too. I don't like that though. This actually puts me ahead on cards. And once this guy resolves, the game ends, so... They could double Raven's Crime me. 2 cards. You got me. You have a Dismember? Seems like opponent does not have a Dismember. You know what that means? What time is it, chat? What time is it, chat? It's prime time, friend! Yes, kids. It is prime time. Maybe I should have gotten Bloodstone there, actually. Amazon Prime free sub time. Hell yeah. I can't hear you. Talk louder to me, chat. What time is it? I want to hear you. Yep. Hell yeah. Primetime SquarePants. Exactly. It is prime time. Whew. Easy game, easy life. Optimus Prime time. Also, my opponent was on the play that game, right? Feels like my opponent chose to be on the play. Is that right? What do we got as far as cyber options go? Purges are coming in. Tracker and Knight of Autumn also coming in. Oh, Liliana? How am I supposed to be? Of course I'm killing Liliana. What kind of monster do I think I am not killing Liliana? Jeez. Alright. Purges. Tracker. Knight of Autumn. Pass to exiles. And Operation is kind of nice, being able to answer Ashiok and Lily. It's okay. I don't know if I want more than one copy, however. Stevie's great. Spring Bloom is great. What's up, Sergio? How's it going? Getting paired against none other than 8-Rack. Explorer's great. Stevie's great. Just got Flora Hedron because it's the worst land. What decks am I expecting for Damping Sphere? Tron mostly, and Storm, and Upsol spells, and there's actually a bunch of things that get answered by that card. Basically, you always keep. My opponent again chose to be on the draw, which is interesting. I was under the impression that you're supposed to always choose to be on the... Just to be in the play, sorry. I was under the impression that you always want to be on the draw when you're playing that deck. Why did Archon fall off? Because it dies to Lightning Bolt. Like Eidolon here, deck is mono 1-drops. Eh. Got a nice little 2-for-1 there. Should we play around Shadowed Out? I guess we don't. Oh, they have Orb, so I guess we don't have to play around Shadowed Out because we just don't have to fetch. It's an answer to Ashiok, which is nice. Also answer to Lily. Rack. We're exposing a Ramina, but I think it's okay. Maybe I should have held on to the Dryad and just play my Reclaimer this turn. That might have been better, actually. They need to take my Raminap, otherwise they lose, though. If the Raminap hits play. Flagstone's is okay against small box, but definitely getting rid of my Raminap is a big deal. Liliana, Waker of the Dead. Guess that's a card that you can put in your smallpox deck. I think we're gonna take 3 from the rack here. Maybe we'll blow it up this time. Unless I play something like a Liliana or an Ashiok, in which case we will just let the rack go, because it doesn't change the clock. The mutable. Okay, they correctly figure out that they need to get the game over with. I guess I want to do this end step. Although we could draw exactly Primeval Titan. So this only punishes me if I draw exactly Titan, but... So if we draw a Titan, we win now. Classic. Anyone in chat remember Time Spiral, Standard, Smallpox, Flagstone deck? I was taking a break back then, so I wasn't playing at that point. Can we draw a Titan, chat? The evergreen question. The evergreen question. Okay, that's a zombie, which is nice. Top deck turn timber you can't cast. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be able to cast it, but it would still be a land for Field of the Dead, so it wouldn't even be the worst thing in the world. Yeah, it would be a free 2/2. You got Liliana. Smallpox, sure. So we're gonna have to sack a Sumbo, but at least we get trigger Flagstones here. And it might force my opponent to minus Lily. Flagstone's good against 8-rack, who'd have known? I did try and bowl it twice today. Feels bad, man. So lands are good draws. We just have to have my opponent not draw the rack or the other one, the black one, which I don't remember the name. Fetch wasn't bad because it's 2 Zombos. Is this what we're doing? I think we're trading for both. He double stone rains them? It means that we can't pressure Lily, but we can cast any spell that we draw. And this means that the Lily needs to plus, which discards them cards. Oof. It's pretty good. As long as we don't draw... As long as my opponent doesn't draw the rack, we're kind of fine. If they had top deck a discard spell, I think they would have plus Liliana, so it has to be something else. I could hold the land to play around the rack, but I think that my opponent has some form of discard in hand, and this is a 2-turn clock. So my opponent will need to find the rack exactly on this turn. They found the rack exactly on this turn. Alright, so let's draw fucking... Ugh. Skyclave apparition was the answer that I was looking for. So I gave my opponent exactly 1 turn to find the rack, and they did. Feels rack, man. Yeah, this is fine, I think. We're gonna be on the draw. 3+2 from the rack. It would have been 2+1, Konana. If I hold the card in hand, then on my next upkeep, I take 2 from the rack and I draw a second card, and now I have 2 cards in hand, but we still lose to any discard spells, so... Oh, I also chose to be on the play, even though I literally just said that I was going to choose to be on the draw. Literally just said it. God damn it. Old habits die hard, I guess. Please have like a bunch of discard and don't have an answer to my Reclaimer. Please. Sweet. They even don't have Thoughtseize, because if they had Thoughtseize and they were able to take my turn Teamer, that would suck. Go fight Flagstones now. I'm going to go find Flagstones regardless, because it allows me to play around the thing that they have. Smallpox. And we untap with Reclaimer. Sweet. I get that it doesn't matter what I do. I'm gonna go Flagstone for Flagstones, right? So might as well do this right now, while I can play around. Play around Shadow Dot now. I guess that's a lie. I could have gotten Castle Garenberg. You got it. Should I get Flagstones here? It makes future Reclaimers better. Yeah. Have you ever been shadowed outed? Yes, yes I have. It's not pretty. It is not pretty. Another Shrieking Affliction. Oh, this is awesome. This is absolutely delightful. Field Blast Zone is the pick here. There's no real need for Sanctuary. My opponent would need to have... They can't have anything, right? Going to one card in hand would be painful, but it would not be lethal. Very, very important difference. So we Knight of Autumn this. My opponent time walks themselves because that's what this card does. Both games, Raminab did some serious head lifting, huh? The classic, my land trades for 4 cards from my opponent. What? Let's just cast this. Spin that wheel. Ding, 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 ding. Gonna go ahead and say that this game looks good. Turn Timber, baby. This deck is actual gas. Yesterday I forewarned losing a game when my energy went down, and today I found it again. Deck is good. The deck is good, Adriano. The deck is good. Eight rack. There's folks out there still living the 8 rack life. You gotta respect it. You gotta respect it. It's a tough life. It's a tough life. One 4 twice today feels better. Look at my 4 1s and 5 0s were left in last week. It happens sometimes. So yeah, there's a little bit on the medium side of things, but we have some fine interaction, and we have call, which is nice. Put most to 5. They go turn 1 flooded strand. I mean, if they have turn 2 Ren, all of their mulligans just didn't matter. They kept a 1-lander. Yikes. There's the Ren that I was talking about. I think I'm going to call for Reclaimer. Yeah. I'm allowing my opponent to untap with Ren, but they need to have an answer for my Reclaimer, otherwise we take over. We're gonna answer Apparition next turn. We're gonna answer the Ren, I mean, with Apparition next turn. Or if we draw a land, we can just Valakut the Ren down. We're calling for a Florahedron here. Okay. That sucks. My opponent is all about that F6 value. They are living their best F6 life out there. Feeling seriously down today. Also, they seem to have the answer to turn 1 Reclaimer 90% of the time. I mean, it's gonna happen. Iladamri ain't answering right now. Feels bad, man. Oh, they just packed it in? Okay. Boils. Eidolon. Tracker. Some number of purges. F6 value into considered value. Yeah, exactly. Why Eidolon? Because Eidolon really slows them down. It really does a lot to keeping your opponent on one spell per turn. It's actually pretty important. The way that our opponents are going to get ahead of us in this matchup specifically is by double spelling. And Eidolon makes that a little bit tougher for them. So Hidden is better DMC for us than Mammoth. It has felt like that. Of course, I'm going to cut it against my opponent who is playing a Renan 6 deck, right? Not particularly excited about that, but Gusto, Growth Spiral. I kind of want to bog them there, but I think it's better for us to chill. Not playing around Shadow that maybe I should be. Awesome, awesome. We're looking good. Reclaimer is a 3/4 now. Just looking solid. Do I care? I think I don't, because I'm planning on getting a cavern for this Titan. Alternatively, we could bog here. They didn't. Okay. Oh, I fucked up. I should have... Oh, that was bad. I should have fetched when they were tapped out. Ah, shit. That was a misstep for sure. No, we want to sack the fetch land because it makes my Reclaimer, but now I enabled my opponent's Lightning Bolt, right? Which I don't love. Phew. My mistake went unpunished. Well, they don't have enough cards, so even if they have a fetch, I still get priority before they can get Bakuro. Definitely bogging here. Not even a question. Claimer's a 3/4. Opponent doesn't want to play this game anymore? Just like that? Alright, sweet. That was probably like the fastest match that I ever played against Control. Main purpose is to stock this stream and say twin for Flaxton's Reclaimer. It just makes my day better. Yeah, it just makes everybody's day better. I think that whenever you go turn 1 Reclaimer, turn 2 Flaxstones, it's just... How can you not be happy? Should we float mana from dry to no? Yeah, I actually made a mistake there. No failure between the 75? No. Why would I want failure between the 75? Like I have fielded it already. I'd rather my Fatal Retreat actually tap for mana and be tutorable thanks to Elvish Reclaimer and Primeval Titan. Okay. Turn 1 Foothills, turn 2 Florahedron if it and ugh. This might actually work out better than expected. I think we might actually lock them out on turn 3, which is hilarious. If they can't answer my Florahedron, we're just probably gonna win this game on turn 4. Which is kind of insane. Alright, Florahedron is a lot better than the Mammoth. Florahedron is a lot better than the Mammoth. I'm sold. What is this blind or rhyming up? Yeah, this is a competitive top tier stream. In competitive top tier streams, you just draw the best cards. Because otherwise, like, what's the point, right? It's so much better to just have it than to not have it and then, you know, get blown out. So I strongly recommend having it. Ballista! Kill my Florahedron! Oh no. What can I do now? Wait. We can play Florahedron from the yard? We can actually play Florahedron from the yard? That's insane! That is so sick! That makes me really happy. That's not supposed to happen? I don't know. I assumed that it was not supposed to happen. And boop. I guess I'm just gonna call for Steve, just because we're so far ahead, and that's going to allow me to start closing the door. They should have like 5 forests. That's still not enough. You got a Thrugtusk, kid. You got a Thrugtusk. Oh, did I say that you had a Thrugtusk? I mean, you don't have a Thrugtusk. My bad. No more basics, you say, huh? No more basics, you say. Next turn, we just tighten them. You really are a fighter, opponent, huh? You really are a fighter. Good for you. 104.38. Yeah, it was. It felt like it was about time, honestly. So the cards that I want, we can cut this, cut this. That was a really impressive showing for Florahedron, actually. Tron players are the worst kind of people. I don't think generalizing is good, but they tend to sometimes be stubborn. But I am friends with some Tron players. Yes. Eidolon decent. I don't think it's good enough now. I don't think I'd rather have Eidolon over any of these cards. I don't love the path, but it's the only way that we can have an auto result Ulamog. Hate the deck, not the player. Yeah, that's a good. That's my principle. Like, I don't hate Neoform players for playing Neoform. I just hate that Wizards allows Neoform to be a legal deck that people can play. Don't care about the players, but the choice of deck makes them the bad guy. Yeah. Apparition, I think. The thing is that it answers Karn the Great Creator, and I don't have that many direct answers to Karn the Great Creator besides Apparition. Like, I don't love the Apparition, but like I could lose to an early Karn. Play with Force, I have no issue with Neoform play. That's fair. Okay, we can ease up a little bit on the lands now. We got the ones that we want. Okay, as I said, we got the lands that we want. It's okay for us to not draw anymore. No, this is actually a pretty bad matchup, Jingle Bells. Yeah, our opponent first search for a forest because that answers. That gives them the mana to answer Damp Sphere. Damp Sphere is okay, but it's not the end all be all against Tron, obviously, because they have stuff like Wilt and whatnot, which is probably what we're gonna see here. Nature's Claim. Okay. Sure. Our opponents just had the nut, and there probably there was no draw that we could have had that could have prevented that. I guess playing a second, particularly not this one, because it didn't work out at all, but. Do I bring Damp Sphere against blue decks? No. Unless they are exactly Storm. Or I guess Ad Nauseam plays blue. I don't think I would bring in Damping Sphere against Blue Tron. They don't have Tron that reliably. The combo. Keep. Opponent kept 7. Lucky. I think I'm actually gonna Damping Sphere right now to prevent my opponent from cycling to search for an answer. We still don't have a green source, right? I mean, if we do find a green source, we're fine. Just gonna name Ghost Quarter there, probably. Yep. What would this sphere be good against versus blue decks? I honestly can't think of a reason. Did you have something in mind? It's actually a pretty good draw. We're gonna go for Titan, right? That's the play. We're just gonna call for Titan. So I guess that exploring is better. I was thinking about exploring into Mind Sensor, but my opponent's gonna be doing this on end step, so. Oof, stops Soulstone. Yeah, it stops Soulstone, it stops Expedition Map and stuff. I think we got him here. Yeah, if they're searching for Blast Zone, that means that they don't have an answer to this thing, which probably means that we're gonna win because we're gonna call for Titan. And then cast it on my turn. Also, they just use their green mana, which means that they don't have an answer for this thing. They could have Dismember, I guess. Sure. My opponent's just F6ing. I'm just gonna show them that they can just concede and we're gonna be fine. No more Tech Edge, no. All right, let's go. That's the second Tron player that we face. Yeah, that big sphere was insane there. Wait. Oh, okay, they just have the. I thought that we just got paired against the same opponent, but it's just some other player that has the same little Lotus Cobra thingy. Ah, fuck! I messed it up. Oh, I hate it. Man, Twitch is so laggy. Oh, come on. Okay, so my Twitch is messed up, so I can't really see chat anymore. It is the mirror. We have a path, which is nice. I think I'm gonna explore. We can't get Titan next turn, so just play this thing. Pass the turn. There's nothing we're pathing. Coco Lopez, thank you for the follow. Spam the memes. Yeah, so sometimes every now and then Twitch will kind of like lose control of its chat when I hit in a weird spot. Okay. It is kind of under control now. Alright, fucked it up again. I don't know how to fix that when that happens. Just gonna call for Dryad. What do I think are the bad matchups for this deck? Tron is bad, even though we just beat it twice in a row, which feels very good. Combo, like Oops All Spells, Ad Nauseam, stuff like that are also pretty bad for us. And then that's kind of about it. Everything else I have felt like it's good or like only slightly unfavored. So this is a Titan, which is not the end of the world. We can just kill it with Valakut. Oh, DNT is also bad. Yeah, you're right, you're right. They need to have removal on the combo. Yeah, but I have found out that very often they just do. So we're definitely going for Dryad here. That's the easy part. What do we sack for now, though? Because if we get Valakut, that means that we can go land, and then we sack and we get another Valakut. Or we can go for Flagstones, and then we sack the Flagstones, we go up to 5, then we play 2 lands for turn, but we only have 1 Valakut. That's probably better, considering that it allows me to ramp at the same time. Sure. So we're going to... We play this, go for Dryad, sack, whoops, pay 2, sack Flagstones, we get a Blains, and then we get a Valakut. Valakut pings there, always yes, always healed. Then we do that, and now we're holding a Path to Exile. They can have all the Titans they want. If they don't have an answer to my Dryad, aka exactly Path to Exile right now, we're going to win. Yeah, you can have all the zombies you want. If you cannot path my Dryad, you're gonna lose. Okay, they do have path for the Dryad. That sucks. What can we do? What can we do? We have 4 mana, we can cycle and we can play. Yeah, I guess we have to. I mean, if we want to answer the Titan, we just have Path to Exile, so that's not a big deal. But like, we still need to beat. We just need to draw another Dryad, I guess. Dryad or Illidan Skull? Not quite. I guess because of the fetch land, we don't have enough blockers. Yeah, we just died. We can't gain 2 because they have exactly lethal. Usa, thank you for the raid. We were exactly dead. Thank you. Welcome everybody from Usa's stream. Playing some Reclaimer over here. Got too many good cards for the mirror. Absolute owner, thank you for the follow. Played Reclaimer 3 times in the last league. Cause the deck's sick. That's why you did play against it so much. You can have all the zombies you want. I said you can have all the. Don't half quote me. Don't half quote me. I said you can have all the zombies you want, but if you don't have an answer to the Dryad, we're gonna win. And that was true. They just happened to have an answer to the. They just happened to have an answer to the Dryad, so we died. Should I be cutting one Dryad? I guess on the play I'm not gonna play Boil. And then on the draw, I'm actually going to go for the boil plan, and I'm gonna shape some dryads. But we get to be on the play, we get to be proactive. Not with this hand though. This one's better. Gonna keep, and I guess we bottom the Heath. Or the Raminap. Let's bottom the Heath. Pointing confirm Laksak. So we're gonna be able to tighten here on 4. And my opponent might be slow enough that I can go for field plus ghost quarter here. I guess it depends on if they have mind sensor. This mind sensor is gonna really be an issue if they have it, which they definitely could, by the way. In fact, this backfires if they have a path to exile, but this could be an insane blowout here. They just had it. Oh, well. Yeah, my opponent definitely has access to Boil in their deck. I'm not gonna have the mind sensor for me. They can mind sensor plus reclaimer. Yeah, this really fucking sucks. Come on. Come on. Mind sensor me. Oh, they just don't have it? I mean, I don't have an answer to their thing anyway, so we're probably still dead here. But, we might have a shot. I'm gonna copy Ghost Quarter and I'm gonna try to go the Raminap route next turn. I don't think that the amount of dudes that I have in play is going to matter as much as me being able to answer my opponent's lands. I would not be surprised if they have a Boil Rotten in hand, which I'm not going to play into. Okay. Wasn't expecting that, but that's okay. Okay, Boils and shave 1 Dryad. God, he's so good though. I'm just trying this out. This is just for experimentation purposes. It's possible that this is just wrong and I shouldn't be bringing in Boyle. That's hilarious. Side out 2 Dryads, have the 2 remaining ones in the opener. Classic. Feel like I actually want to hold on to this Winds of Heath. Calling for Titan. Let's do this right now. Player on Mind Sensor. We need to find a path or dismember right now because they have a Dryad. Fuck. Yep. We're actually just dead if we don't find a path or a Mind Sensor. Yep. We're just dead because we were on the draw. Or just Dobbs. There's nothing we can do. No, they just have lethal. Yeah, particularly with Castle Garenbrig. They just get Vesuva and the other Valakut and they just lethal me. So, yeah. Nothing that we did really mattered here. My opponent's draw was... I just needed to have some form of interaction and I didn't. Rosalie, think about the follow. I don't think my keep was bad or anything like that. I think this was just fine, but we just need to find Dismember or Path to Exile. We could have also drawn into the other guy. Either Knight of Autumn or Apparition. Science experiment failed. I mean, it was fine. Luca Jack, thank you for the follow. Oh yeah, GG's Luca Jack. It kind of sucks that I did build my deck with the mirror in mind, but it just didn't really matter. I'm probably gonna bottom the redundant primetime, I think. Unfortunately, there's no way for me to know what would be better over there, right? I'm just guessing. Maybe 2 paths is actually a lot worse than redundant primetime, but... You like bringing in boils for the mirror? I was experimenting with bringing in boils on the draw, but leaving them out on the play. So on the play we can be like more proactive and I can do the thing. And on the draw I can like you're gonna get to Dryad better. So instead of just trying to out Dryad you, I just blow up your lands. But your hand was just a little bit too fast. I'm going to fetch right now. This plays around my opponent having like killing might do the response or something. We got punished though. Now my Reclaimer can die to Bolt. Got a Futzies. They took the path. Very interesting. They probably have an answer to Reclaimer, and if they do, I think I'm supposed to... Oh, they just haven't had Thoughtseize. Okay. This means that we get to develop with Flagstones. Skelemental. Maybe I should have played Bog just so it's in play. I'm obviously not blocking. Bog's gone. Just gonna continue doing the same thing. No need to crack this fetch. Doing just fine. These black-red decks are interesting. Not sure I understand why are people playing them. I understand how these are better than the Shadow decks or like the John decks or whatever. I think we play around this card here. We just call for Florahedron. Play it as a tap land. We hold up Reclaimer activation. And we have an active field starting next turn. But now my opponent's Skelemental just doesn't do anything. And we just take 6 and whatever. So if they have an Earth, it's also wasted. It's pretty good. Well, that's interesting. I think we just pass and hope that they don't have another discard spell and stuff. We're still winning thanks to this Reclaimer. So even if they do have like a Skelemental or they do have an answer, like if they, yeah, this is just fine. We just call for a Titan. So this just whiffs the Inquisition. They could have Liliana, but if they have Liliana, that means that they have 2+. Although I guess that... Alright. I guess that this was the good line. Excuse me. Okay, now the bottom. Purges, we like all of these. And Tireless Tracker. That's it. We cut Ghost Squatter. Kind of don't like pass too much. All right. The other day the same thing happened. I started 3-0, then I think this was yesterday actually. Started 3-0, lost round number 4, and then I got paired against this black-red Skelemental deck, which I think it's an okay matchup. This is what we call Splinter Twin. Path is good versus removal deck, so you can ramp yourself. I don't think that you should be playing it because of that. We can play around Blood Moon here if we wanted to. I think I'm gonna leave myself the option to play around Blood Moon. What I'm saying here is we can Vesuva copy my Flagstones to go get a basic Plains. Croxa. I think I'm pitching the Scattergroves to this one. Well, it's not a good draw. Maybe Path is better than Apparition. Apparition answers Ashiok and Path does not, so I don't think so. Another Croxa. This is gonna be a call for Spring Bloom. This really happens often. This does happen very, very often. Oh no, shit. We actually can't do this. Ugh, that's brutal. That sucks. Urge for having Bailiff Intensifies. Nah, I mean, it's fine. It's definitely a card that you can put in your deck if you want to, but... Ooh, we just got to untap? Sick. Let's not get shadowed out, please. forest and basic plains. Flagstones, get temple garden, play this, say go. So they're gonna have to have K command here. Bold face. What is that? Oh, they're just allowing themselves to cast Croxa. Okay. I mean, they could do discard spell into Croxa here. And we might be in trouble. But this Spring Bloom just gave us Titan mana by itself, so it's pretty good. And they only have one time that they can escape this Croxa, so this Titan is just going to overpower their Croxa very easily. Thoughts on Yasharn? I think it's good in Legacy, not good in Modern. I tested it in both formats, was impressed by it in Legacy, was thoroughly unimpressed with it in Modern. I think this is a pretty easy double field here. Go! Yeah. One of these Titans is better than the other one. I challenge you to find out the correct answer to that. Alright, 4-1. Only loss this one was to the mirror. I am seriously considering just not playing Tireless Tracker at all. Seriously considering just cutting the tracker. Maybe for the 4th purge. I thought Damp Sphere was pretty fine. We could do a Baloth. No U4T is strange for me. Both of them were very, very lackluster. Even in the matchups that you wanted them for, they just didn't pull their weight. So I just cut them for double Damping Sphere. Gaia's Blessing. That's a good one. That's a good one. I haven't faced Mill at all. I guess I have faced Mill yesterday and the day before, but... Is Generous Gift just the white beast within? Yes, that's exactly what it is. The only difference is that it puts an elephant token, but the token is green for whatever reason. But it's an elephant token instead of a beast. Can play James the Mike Hunter in the Cyber. Now that's some next level stuff. Starting Coastal Lake to Hellside has actually been relevant for me. The problem that I have with Leviathan is that this is not Amulet, right? Like in Amulet it makes a lot more sense because you have so many bounce lands that having 7 cards in hand is not so rare. With this deck, you very often have more than 2 or 3. You very rarely have more than 2 or 3. So that means that for multiple turns, like probably like 4 or 5 turns, you need to not die. And if you drew your Coastal Lake, you need to not do anything for all of those many turns. And then if your opponent just goes ahead and just they Crypt Incursion your Coastal Lake or something like that, then you're just as dead as you were before. That's my issue with Coastal Lake. ¿Se imaginan el equipo de diseño que el titán verde acabaría siendo lo mismo que el titán negro, además de su habilidad? Sí. Sí, 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 posta. No solamente el titán verde y el negro, sino también el rojo ahora con Balakut. What Sergio was saying is like, he was saying if he wondered whether people were thinking, whether the design team was thinking that the Green Titan would end up being both the Black Titan and the Green Titan at the same time. And I'm saying, well, also the Red Titan as well. Basically, all of the Titans. Have you tried Our Promise or Grand Abolisher? I have not. I have tried Our Promise. I have not tried Grand Abolisher. Our Promise is okay. It's obviously just the worst Titan. That's what it is. So I'm not sure whether it's actually better than Summoner's Pact. And Grand Abolisher, I have not tried it, but I have Boils in my sideboard, so literally Grand Abolisher is exactly for the blue matchups, and I rather have Boils in my sideboard for the blue matchups, so there's not much of a point. But Doomwake was playing the list one time in a prelim or something, and he was playing straight up green white because it was the list that Musasabi has been playing. And actually, the Grand Abolisher looked very good. Voice of Resurgence was terrible. Just don't play Voice of Resurgence. That card is really bad. But Grand Abolisher was actually pretty solid. Why is this deck better than Amulet? Nobody ever said that this deck was better than Amulet. It's just better positioned. But it's just more consistent, and the matchup spreads are different. Like your good matchups are different ones than Amulet. But you are giving up speed for consistency, basically. Casting Cozy League is not relevant. Yeah, that's probably true. Amulet or this deck, how's the king? Different metagames, they're gonna be different matchups. What's your thoughts on Isolate for Shadow, Vile, Amulet, Mirror, Swift Spear? First of all, this is not Amulet, so I probably would not be bringing in Isolate for the Mirror match. And I also probably would not be bringing in Isolate against Amulet either. Like, answering one card from my opponent. Like, I'd rather, instead of Isolate, I guess if it were for the Mirror, I would rather play... I'd rather play, like, Nature's Claim. And because Nature's Claims also answers Dryad, which seems a lot more important. But about answering Shadow, I'd rather have access to Celestial Purge. That's a better way of answering that Shadow. How was the Flora Hedron? Actually pretty good. It was pretty nice having access to the Flora Hedron. It came up multiple times throughout the 2 leagues that I played today. Blessing plays better on Crypt Incursion by discarding Coastal to handside I think it's more important. Again, I just don't agree, Leviathan. I think that with this deck, you're not gonna get to discard to handside as often as you think that you would. Maybe in Amulet, maybe it makes sense. I still probably disagree, but with this deck, I would just play Blessing. I wouldn't consider playing Kozilek. Can we give primetime Frost Titan abilities to complete Tron? I think that there is a land that I think that there's a land that prevents a creature from untapping. It's not very good. Okay, that's kind of all the questions that I see in chat for now. That's a lot of questions. I love it. Make sure you keep them coming. Yeah, I don't like Tracker. I think I'm just gonna cut Tracker. The issue that I see with Tracker is that it just doesn't matter, right? It's just not a card that ever matters. If I'm gonna be calling for something, I'm just gonna be calling for a Titan. Sajir steps in the lands. No, it's just not worth it. On Amulet, I drew Kozilek twice and won versus Mill. Yes, you're just giving me evidence from one match. That's called what's the name of that? Oh man, there's like an actual word for this. Like you're using your own experience in a very results-oriented thinking. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Thank you, Ursa. That's results-oriented thinking, and that's not a good way to build your decks. The like did you say is backing for trackers? I know. I told you, say. I think the tracker is just something of the past. I honestly don't think that tracker is confirmation bias. Yeah, that's another one. The issue that I have with tracker is that it just doesn't do what it used to do anymore. Like before, before you were in a situation where you could play Tireless Tracker under Counter Magic and under Aether Gust, and Tracker would be a threat that your opponent needs to answer, otherwise they will just lose. Nowadays that's just not true, because you have your Tracker going and you're using a lot of mana to gain that advantage, and then your opponent just plays an Omnath and they have way more mana than you, and they just play an Uro and they have way more cards than you, so it just doesn't compete anymore. So I think that as long as Uro and Omnath are legal in the format, I just don't think that Tracker is going to be a thing anymore. But if that was Blessing, I was 100% losing. Yeah, but I also had matchups against like Dredge where I was able to Blessing like their Dredgers and I won that game. Like it's just, it's kind of the thing. Also, you can, if your opponent mills your Valakuts, you can just shuffle them back if you naturally draw your thing, and you can give yourself an out. So I don't know. If you draw Blessing, it's not doing anything. Yeah, I mean, I just gave you something that it might be doing. How do you beat Omnath with this deck? Like, what are the key cards? Right here. These three right here are pretty good against the Omnath deck. Also, I mean, we just beat the Omnath deck because both games we played turn 1 Reclaimer, and my opponent did not have the removal for it, so it just won by itself. You just use Reclaimer to gain value turn after turn, and then eventually you get Field of the Dead going. You're forcing your opponent to tap out on their turn because that's what they do now. They can't really let your Reclaimer continue going. Reclaimer also bogs them, so they don't get value from Red and 6, and they don't get value from Uro. Reclaimer does a lot against that deck. I guess I haven't been bringing shufflers at all in other matchups, so I believe. Yeah, it's weird. In the end, I think it's a matter of preference. I think that the arguments for Gaia's Blessing are stronger than the arguments for Kozilek's Return, but it's fine. Like I don't really fault anybody. It's not like I say, oh, that person is playing that person's playing Kozilek instead of playing Gaia's Blessing. You know, it's whatever. Like I think that there's argument for both. For playing both cards, and if there some arguments you like better, sweet, go for that. I like the arguments for Gaia's Blessing a little bit better than the arguments for Kozilek, so that's basically where I stand. Okay, so is Explorer good? Explorer is one of the flex slots. It could be a Gracer, but I think I like Explorer better, particularly in the current meta. I think that the aggro decks have kind of disappeared a little bit. And on the other hand, mid-range decks, like there's the Lurus John deck that is kind of everywhere, because it's pretty sweet. I like that deck a lot, actually. And Explorer is great against that matchup, while Gracer is unplayable. So there are many matchups where Explorer is just very good, that Gracer is not. Granted, there are a couple of matchups where Gracer is good, but those are not as prominent, I don't think. So what's my last card gonna be? I think I'm going back to wins. At least with one. Fiery temper for the memes. Are you going to try retreat or is it just not worth it? I just don't understand I don't understand why. Yavqua. Like, I really don't see the point of playing retreat, failure retreat. I really don't understand what's the point. You could argue that it's to win Field of the Dead Mirrors, but that's just not true. That's just not how the matchups play out. Like, you could say it's for the mirror, that's just not true. That's not how the matchup plays out. You could say that it's against Amulet, also not like, what is Failure's Retreat against? Like, you just have Field of the Dead. Failure Retreat is the same card, except that you need to spend the card on it, and you cannot search it up with Elvish Reclaimer or Primeval Titan. So I really don't understand the appeal. But this is the third time that people have asked about it, which really surprises me. Bunch, thank you for the follow. So I'm not gonna play Failure Retreat because I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Yeah, somebody was playing in the Challenger Shoal Day top 32 or something, but I honestly think that if you're playing Failure Retreat, you might as well just be playing Explore. My take is that I simply don't know. Like, I simply don't know what the point is. Bunched with the Prime sub, thank you so much for being a brand new member. Brand new member, first time Prime subscriber, brand new member of the Primetime Stronghold. Thank you so much for the support. Welcome to the channel, and yeah, thank you for supporting the stream. You feel like Turn Timber Cicada should stay one time? Yeah, I have liked this card a lot. I have liked this card a lot. Yeah, you do whiff and everything, but we already discussed this a million times. Like, people just argue that Turn Timber whiffs and stuff, and it's just like, whatever. I have explained myself multiple times here. We talked about it for like 10 minutes in the podcast in one of the episodes. Maybe it was episode 5 or 6 or something. And people still argue that they don't like Turn Timber. It's just like, sure, whatever. Do whatever you want. Play whatever card you want. Play the cards that make you happy. Turn Timber makes me happy, so I play Turn Timber. It's pretty straightforward. It's almost impossible for Control to deal with failure once it hits, but they just often make more tokens. The problem is that you don't lose to that. The way that Control deals with your tokens is they cryptic lock you and they kill you. Failure Retreat just does not help with that. And saying that it's almost impossible, it's not true, because again, Cryptic Command, Teferi Time Raveler, Big Teferi also answers it. Like, it's just a 4 mana do nothing. Like, you're spending a card to play a 4 mana card that just stays there and does nothing. What decks are boiling for? Decks that play islands. If they play islands, you won't boil. If they play many islands, I'm not going to be bringing in boil against Grixis Shadow, right? I'm probably not going to be bringing in boil against, like, I don't know, like Ad Nauseam plays like 2 islands maybe. Isn't boil a hard number with Dryad? Yes. I'm pretty sure that you can fill in the blanks here. If you have this card in play, you just don't cast the boil. No, you're not missing anything. It's just nobody's forcing you to cast the boil when you have a Dryad in play. If you have the Dryad in play, you're probably winning anyway, right? So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward. It's a lot less of a numbo. It's a lot less of a numbo that you might think in practice. Like, it obviously looks like a numbo in paper, but in practice it doesn't clash as much as you think. Because your opponent is actively interested in removing your Dryad. In fact, you're very often just jamming your Dryad just so your opponent removes it or uses a counterspell or something, and then you just untap and you boil them. It is something that happens fairly often. But yeah. Very often you can just find ways to leverage Dryad if the Dryad doesn't. It's bad if you draw like 2 of them. Sometimes. But you kind of always want to see the first copy, so I think 3 is fine. It could go down to 2. It could go down to 2 just because I don't think that the blue decks are that bad of a matchup. So maybe it could go down to 2. The only bad decks, the only blue decks that are bad matchups are the ones that are more combo heavy. So like breach decks and what's the name? Yeah, I guess more bridge decks or Kiki Jiki, like Splinter Twin decks and stuff like that. What's gonna be the last card in my deck? Everything else in the list I have been very happy with. Surprised how little Dryad gets killed when you have evaluated people have less removal than I would have thought. Yeah, a lot of people have not that much removal right now. Because a lot of decks are very proactive. Oof. The problem with Oof is that it was so lackluster. I had until yesterday I had Oof and Teague both in my decks, and both of those cards were super unimpressive. So that's why I ended up cutting them for the Dumping Spheres, and the Dumping Spheres actually felt pretty good today. So you're not facing many hand skills, isn't it? No, I'm not. I don't think that's probably like a tier 4 deck or something right now. Like Blessing as a meal solution with a sudden grave hate flavor. Yeah. It is one option for sure. I'm also considering Force of Vigor. I also think that Force of Vigor is pretty interesting. Especially for the mirror. Like, the mirror has been very popular lately. I'm probably gonna think about this, and of course I'm going to be sharing my list tomorrow. But that's gonna be it for me today. Thanks everybody for hanging out today. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, and I will see you again tomorrow when we're going to be playing some more Reclaimer for day number 4 of the Tuning Bootcamp. See you then. Bye bye.